Franklin Cudjoe is on. Franklin Cudjoe is president in Money Africa. He's joined us via Zoom, as always. Hello, Franklin. Welcome to the program. First time speaking after the election. How are you? How did you receive the result?
Well, thank you very much. I could be better. Good morning to my good friends in the studio. Well, I knew that there was going to be a loss on the side of the NPP. But to be frank with you, I didn't expect it to be Trumpian. Trump virtually, it was the same thing in Trumpland. I never expected it at all. But I was quietly also quite happy that at least Ghanaians were just watching you, listening to you. You can misbehave, you can say all the things you say, you can be tone deaf, you can be just disrespectful, arrogant, and say all sorts of things to people. They just watch you, right? I'm sure you've heard many people say the same thing. So I wasn't surprised. I knew there was going to be a loss for sure, because we also do our own polls. Mm-hmm. We call it executive polls. So we did all those polls, and we knew exactly. Incidentally, though, when we did the first one in January, John was around 56%, and Bawumia was around 30%. But then we knew that he was going to close up. But I never thought that it was going to be this of a beat necessarily. So, look, it is what it is. It's happened, and I think that politicians definitely are taking note. It's everywhere, and I suspect that I'm hoping that we will see good governance. The ones we've never known in the last 8 years. I mean, I'm still surprised that my good friend Anado could have left such a terrible legacy, exceedingly terrible legacy. And I'll be helping him write his memoir. I don't know, but we'll see. So look, this election was the signs were there. We all knew it. But as I said, we didn't know it was going to be this of I don't know what word we should use, sorry, but it was a total beating, and the country spoke. I've heard all kinds of permutations. Oh, some people did not vote. Yeah, of course, the turnout rate was a bit lower, but you make a mistake. I mean, just look at the parliamentary results. Even if John maintained added a 2 percentage point to whatever he got the last time, well, why is it not reflecting in the parliamentary result? This was a walloping. Is it shellacking? I don't forget what word experts are using these days. It was a total annihilation. And it's good. But you see, Parliament would definitely also, I know that a leader would be happy to have such a majority to work with in the first place. But therein lies the danger. You should be careful. You don't become tone deaf. You don't push unnecessary bills, silly bills, rush them, and then say everything is kosher. I don't think that's what Ghanaians want to hear at all. And I'll be happy to be. I'm still in the business of harassing politicians for a living, harassing bad politicians for a living, really. And look, it is what it is. I'm happy to have played a huge role in all of this mess. Look at what happened to Sal. It was just disappointing. I mean, I couldn't believe my eyes that people I call friends, democratic friends, human rights friends, they didn't even care. They said, Charlie. Anyway, we now have SAL, we have a representative, Brother Ghanaians, but we are still going after the people who caused the SAL. We are still in court. I mean, who was dodging, we've now served him, who served the EC, who continue our pursuit of Charlie. So these are preliminary remarks. Do you have a direct question, though? Because I function better with direct question.
So let's just move on. I was asking Doc about how much of this he thinks is attributable to the candidates or the candidature of Mahmoud Bawumia and Napo, or is purely a matter of the record they were running, of a record they've been very much a part of. Napo being education minister, leading the flagship free SHS, and later energy minister, key part of the setup, and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia himself, vice president and still vice president of the Republic. Is it just the record or the personalities and what they stood for also made a difference?
Obviously, the personalities mattered. In December 2023 to January 2024, when we did this first poll, we got a series of questions. The likability of Dr. Bawumia, whether they thought he was doing a good job as vice president, and whether he do something better if he's president. Almost all the figures were raining around 60% disapproval. 60% disapproval. Yes, but they liked him about 70%. They didn't care. They didn't even care if a running mate was from Ashanti, whatever it was. They didn't care. I think, yeah, somehow the running mate, people preferred Ashantis. And this was a poll where 73% of respondents did not identify with any party, So consistently, I knew within the man 4 walls of Brights, Kofi, myself, and Salom, we already had the data. And we knew that Bawumia's candidature was in trouble because he wasn't particularly liked as a vice president. And you see, and then getting to the tail end of the campaign, he made it even worse by saying that he was just a driver's mate and wasn't doing. That was totally unintelligent. I don't even know who advised them to say such things. People are really stupid, right? You claim 33 policies for yourself and say, well, that's the other ones here. Constitutionally, I was just a driver. Even as Santini, before Santini told him, right? I told him that, Charlie, don't say that ever again, right? But as Santini, you met Santini, and Santini said, look, accept the fault and acknowledge them, and then go ahead and say what you want. I don't know, these people, communication people, this is one of the worst communication teams I've ever seen. I couldn't believe my eyes. I said, wow. And these guys, don't you see they are walking into danger? And then the campaigns were even funny. Some of the campaign adverts were joking. This in Cocoa, I was so shocked that people could even tell the vice president to say something like that. When your own party is sat in parliament and listened to the Minister of Agri talk about cockerels, talk about pule that were given to farmers, 14,000, 80,000 pule were given to farmers to do these things. What is in Cocoa Kitikiti? So you're even denigrating your own people who may be supporting you, who may be just minimum party from you. So the communication was terrible. And then they had a candidate who just he was on him. Going around saying all kinds of things that were not connecting. He didn't tackle the economy. So if you look at the poll that we saw, 60% consistently disapproval of him as vice president, and 50% people said he would not even be a good president. It's terrible. So we knew it was going to happen anyway. So look, the parties, the candidates matter. As on Napo, I think apart from those who said they cared, they thought that Ashanti, the running mate should come from Ashanti. Overwhelmingly. For the NDC, overwhelmingly people said they should come from the central. So it's interesting. And so then, even though they say Ashanti, they didn't say just any Ashanti. You understand me? The fact that they say Ashanti, and then they bungled the whole thing with, Bawumia makes like 3 votes, and then this guy comes to take 9 away. Charlie, it was a terrible show. I don't know whether they were watching themselves. I would never run such a campaign, if I was giving money to run such a campaign. And those people who did all this, they should be writing their notes by now, but they should stop saying that they want to find out how come they lost terribly, and then start depressing, making it look as though it's not a proper win for John Mahama. And look, get back to the drawing thing. You lost because, one, you were exceedingly lazy, you were fantastically corrupt, you were innately arrogant, and then to add on, they had clever clowns as well that were just jumping around, gyrating, misbehaving, and this was a perfect election that should never have been run the way it was run. So if they want to find out, they shouldn't set up a committee. These 4 great adjectives.
Okay. All right. So Franklin, I wanted to find out what exactly about Napo